Hi, everybody. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Long Distance Book Club. I'm one of your hosts, Logan.
And I am your other host, Hannah.
And this week, we are going to be talking about Just Friends by Haley Pham. But before we get into that, Hannah, what are you currently reading?
I'm so glad you asked me this. I just today finished Beachdale Road, and it's a local book from like Lancaster County here in Pennsylvania. And it's kind of hard to explain. So basically, in 2020, I believe it was a Amish woman. She was, I think, 19. She was kidnapped and murdered by a guy with the last name Smoker. I don't know how to pronounce his first name, but anywho, and it's a true story. The guy's family, the family of the guy that kidnapped and murdered the girl wrote a book about the Amish community's forgiveness and their grace, and just the love that they poured onto the family of the murderer, like even the mom and the dad of the girl that was murdered. And it was a really good book. It was super powerful. It made me cry. It was really good.
Really?
Yeah, it was really good. It's called Beachdale Road. And it's only like 100 and something pages. So it's a very quick read, but very powerful. It was really, really good. And now I started Like Mother, Like Daughter. And I saw on Fable that you rated this book 5 stars, actually. So I'm really excited to see what I think about it.
Yeah, I think that was one of my book of the month books a couple of months ago. That was definitely over a year ago.
I think it actually, to be exact, I think it was August of 2024 is what the cover says. And I bought it from I bought it secondhand like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, is yours a book of the month cover too?
It is, yes.
I remember liking it. So, if I'm remembering correctly, that one has a lot of unexpected twists. So I'm
Ooh,
excited to see what you think.
count me in. And I'm sorry, not to make this all about me, but should I tell you, you've been wanting to know what I had thought about Babel and Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. I did finish those. Should I tell you my
You
thoughts real quick?
did? I thought
Yeah.
you DNF'd them. Yes, I would love to hear.
I gave both of them 2 stars.
Oh,
I almost DNF'd both of them. It was brutal for me. Catabasis I did like better than Babel, but they were both so like academia heavy and so like long and drawn out. Babel, I thought I had really high expectations for Babel because we might have talked about this because it's about like interpreting, blah, 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 languages.
Yeah.
And I nearly despised it. And Catabasis is like a really cool epic journey to the underworld, except for I was so bored. So I think that R.F. Kuang is just not for me. I did read Yellowface and I liked it better. I have not read the Poppy War trilogy and I will not be reading it.
I fear that I have never read anything by R.F. Wong. I have tried the Poppy War.
Okay.
And I was plainly bored. Like, so with my previous experience with that one and then your experience with those, I also think it's safe for me to say that I'm good.
Yeah, maybe she's just not for us. Honestly, Yellowface was pretty interesting, but it also felt a lot different than her other books, at least the ones that I've read and heard about. But yeah, that one was really interesting, and I'm glad that I read that one. But yeah, I'm not inclined to read any of her other ones because of how I felt about those two. But anywho, all that to say, what are you currently reading, Logan?
So in a little bit of what someone might call a book slump, I read.
Oh no.
I know. I read a really, 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 really good book. 5 books ago.
Oh, heavens to Betsy.
And I haven't met my match since.
What was the really good one that you read?
The really good one, thank you for asking. The really good one that I read
You're welcome.
was An Academic Affair by Jodi McAllister. I don't remember which month it was, but it was kind of recent because I put my book of the month books in like order of the month that I got them in.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah.
So I can look back and that's how I know Like Mother, Like Daughter. I got that a long time ago because it's really close to the front. But anyway, An Academic Affair is about two people that live in Australia, and they're in academia. They're professors. They love all things reading, literature, and apparently the field is very small, so it's hard to get good jobs that you like. And
Mm.
so she ends up getting a job. They fought for it. They both did, but she ends up getting it. And then there's a clause in her contract about a partner hire. So they end up getting fake married. And so then he also gets a job with her in this new place, and it was so cute. And I also really really liked getting to see the world of academia, which I'm sure was honestly pretty accurate. But it was just really good. Like, I think I gave it a 5 star.
That
But
sounds really cute.
yeah, it's also on Kindle Unlimited if you're interested. Um,
Oh,
but it has been downhill ever since.
and I saw that you read Nine Perfect Strangers. You gave
Yeah,
that one 3 stars.
yeah. So it wasn't terrible. Um,
Right. But it wasn't what you wanted to get out of your book slump.
yeah, exactly. And then I also read in between An Academic Affair and now, I also read Rose in Chains by Julie Soto, which is, Hannah, you may want to read it actually. Um, it's also kind of sort of based on Harry Potter slash Alchemized. Um,
Mm,
and so it really is just like Alchemized, but it's nowhere near as dark and detailed. Like the same
interesting.
things are going on, but definitely not to the explicit extent that is in Alchemized.
I see.
And it was good, I will say. But my coworker gave it to me, and I didn't know anything about it until I just started reading it. I feel like I read like 500 pages of nothing, because
Oh,
the conflict happens in the beginning and there is absolutely no resolution at all for the rest of the 400 pages. I was
oh
miserable.
my gosh. You are really selling this book to me.
Yeah, do what you please. I don't like I
Yeah,
said, I'm in a book slump.
that's so funny. Are you reading anything at this exact moment?
So I really love Cara Bastone, and then I recently read No Matter What by her, which is her. It released in March, and I absolutely
That's
hated that book.
uh that's the one with the really beautiful cover, right?
Oh, it's gorgeous, gorgeous. But
Okay, it did look beautiful.
I don't think I think that I'm not a fan of second chance romances in
Mm,
general, maybe, but definitely
mm.
if they are married, like, and or married and got divorced, married and are getting separated and then come back together. Like, I don't know, books about that like
Was
never hit for me.
was that was that a like a slight foreshadowing to Just Friends?
Yeah. So another book that also put me into a book slump was Just Friends by Haley Pham.
Are you serious? Well, speaking of second chance romances, when you said that, I was like, oh, that sounds familiar.
I'm so good at what do you call it?
I almost said stem changes, transitions, segues.
Transit. Yeah, I'm so good at transitions.
It's less good whenever we point it out, but that one was so
Yes.
smooth that I couldn't help it. I couldn't help but point it out.
Yes. So before we get into that, I am currently reading to try to get
Oh
myself
yeah.
out of a book slump. I'm trying to read because I this year I discovered I love Tara DeWitt, and so I'm
Mm.
reading a book which unfortunately also happens to be a second chance romance. Um, but so far I like it. I'm like 18% of the way through, and I'm reading it on my Kindle, so we'll see how it goes. But anyway, Hannah, would you like to introduce to the fans and tell them what Just Friends is about?
Yes, I will try my hardest, okay? Because I read this a week ago. Um, so basically, we have our main characters, Blair and Declan, okay? And the book is told in, or it's written in dual timelines. So in the
Mm-hmm.
past, we see them as like their high school selves being, just friends for forever and ever and ever, literally since like they were 5 years old. And then when they were in high school, they started dating, okay? Then they broke up. And that's intertwined with our present day, where Blair, after college, moves back home for the summer to a really cute town that I want to live in called Seabrook, and it's in California. Um, and basically, she has a mom, but her Aunt Lottie took her mom and herself, Blair, in whenever Blair was younger, whenever her mother left her father, because he was abusive. So Aunt Lottie was basically like her second mother. Anywho, she has stage 4 cancer. Um, and then she ends up passing. So she stays home for the summer to like basically help her mom figure things out. But while she's there, she's like, I need to get a job. So she applies at a coffee shop in town, which is Declan's coffee shop. Dun dun dun. And basically they I don't know the word. They start talking again because basically they hadn't talked since before college,
Acquainted.
since they broke. Yeah, since his accident, essentially. Oh yeah, that was another thing. He got hit by a car when he was a senior, and he was never able to play football again. Had to relearn how to walk. He was bedridden for a really long time. But yeah, basically that's the premise. Before I completely spoil anything, I forgot to put spoiler warnings out there. But if you don't know the thing
Yeah.
by now, then
Yes. If you don't know, now you know. We are a spoiler um podcast here. So we will be talking about all the nitty-gritty details. So if you haven't read it yet and you want to, then pause this episode, go read it, and then come back and chit chat with us about it.
true that. Did I leave off anything important? I'm not very good at synopses, but I always try.
Um
Just as a overview refresher for anybody who it's been a while since you've read it. I hope that jogged your memory enough.
yeah, not really. Maybe her like
Her two
job.
friends.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, she had a job waiting for her in New York City, and which was like her
Mhm.
air quote dream.
Dream job, yeah.
Yeah, and basically the whole time she was in Seabrook back home, she was like to go back to or to take my New York City job or to not take my New York City job and stay here and help my mother. Blah 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 blah. And then she has two friends, Faye and Roshi, I believe, that were her
Mhm.
college friends that come into play a little bit too.
Yeah. Um I think you did a
Okay,
great good job.
thank you. Will you tell me your rating, or do you want me to tell you my rating?
Well, I guess I kind of already alluded to it, so I don't
That's
mind
true.
going.
That's true. Pray tell.
um, and honestly, I'm not even quite confident with my rating. Because for those of you that don't know, Hannah and I do not talk about these books until we film the episode. So, I leave my rating on Goodreads blank for this reason right here. So I
I do that too now.
don't spoil it for Hannah, and I don't want Hannah to get spoiled for how we think about the book. But if I had to rate this book out of 5 stars, and on Goodreads you can only rate whole stars, I would probably give it a 2. But I'm
Wow.
like it really like a 1.5.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
but I have a feeling that you liked it because, well, let me not say that, but um yeah, you give your rating and then we'll talk about why.
Then we'll dive in. Okay. I give
Yeah,
it 4 whole stars.
that's crazy.
Okay. So why did you hate it overarchingly?
So, I first off want to start with saying that I think it is so awesome that Haley wrote this book. And I mean, not to toot our own horns or anything, like, but almost like she was just like us, like just reading and reviewing books for fun, for the love of the
Right.
game, and
Mhm.
one day just decided she was going to write her own book, published it, and here she is now. Like, I think that is so cool. Um, some people I've seen around the interweb is upset because they feel like because of that, Haley kind of got a leg up when it came to finding publishers. And, you know, honestly, good for her. I'm sure that is what happened, but either way, somebody found a market for her book and felt like it was
Exactly.
good to publish. So, you know,
Right.
she did exactly what any other author would have done. But anyway, I do just want to say that is absolutely awesome that Haley did this, but I thought this book was bad. I did not like this book. And I
That's
could be like,
wild.
I know. I could be nitpicky about it. Like, I just knew you were going to like this book. So now I just feel even worse. But I don't know. I didn't like any of the characters. Let's start off with that.
Okay.
Which I've seen a lot of people and even like Haley herself say that she kind of mirrored her relationship with her husband to Blair and Deacon, right?
Declan.
Declan, sorry. So I've seen a lot of people say that she like mirrored their relationship aspects. So I don't want her to be like, man, this lady is crapping on my relationship. But I just didn't feel like any chemistry. Like I felt like they were cutesy little sweethearts, but that was it. And this book was not a young adult book, but it definitely felt like a young adult book. Like it didn't have a ton of I don't know what I'm trying.
Depth.
Yeah, I mean depth, but I do think that when it came to her aunt and like grief,
Oh, yeah.
there was definitely depth, but like romantically, I didn't feel depth, if that makes sense.
It does. I think for me, the way that I kind of saw it, and I do agree with you actually about it feeling a little bit YA. I didn't think it was too YA for me because I'm not a big YA girl
Yeah.
anymore. But I can definitely see why you do think that is, and I have a hard time with books where the main characters are like in high school at a certain point because it kind of gives me the ick a little bit. Because I'm like
Yeah.
they're children, I'm like ugh.
Yeah.
Um, but I think a big for me, the way I interpreted it, I think because of their history, I think is why they had a lot of chemistry. However, what I don't like is, and this happens a lot in books and second chance romances, blah, 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 is like whenever freaking 4 years have gone by and then it's like they just make eye contact with that person and they're like, oh my gosh, everything that I've worked so hard to move past has just come tumbling down again. And I'm like,
Yeah.
really? And I'm like, really? You've had 4 years to get over this. This is ridiculous. It feels a little silly to me. Um,
Definitely
but
insta love.
exactly, yeah. But I did really like this book, and I thought that I actually laughed out loud a couple times. I thought that the humor was really good. I don't know. I also found it very wholesome. I thought that it was very sweet, and I think that Seabrook sounds like an ideal place to live. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it because there were things that I didn't love about it. But
Hmm.
just, the way I felt when I was reading it, I was like, "Oh, this is really cute." And I enjoyed myself a lot while I was reading it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't. And when I went, I tried so hard, like, not to be biased going into it because I already was like super, almost like proud of Haley for writing a book and publishing it. But within 20 pages, and I've seen a lot of people say this in their reviews too, within 20 pages, Homegirl utilized the word conglomerate. Like, and I feel like multiple times in her book, she used bigger vocabulary, more complex vocabulary words. And I don't know if she felt like she had to like impress us or I don't know what it was, but like it was insane the amount of times that I had to be like, I have actually never heard this word in my entire 26 years.
Can I argue with you real quick from a place of love?
Yeah.
Not actually argue with you, but because that's something I wanted to talk about was all the like hate about the book but it was, mainly directed at like the big vocabulary words like you mentioned. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because I've seen a lot of that as well, where people are talking about all these big words, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I just to play devil's advocate, as as kind of a nerd myself with big words, I enjoy using big vocabulary words in my everyday life. And there was only like one or two words in the whole book where I was like, huh, that was a really big word. I actually don't know what that means. I actually didn't feel that way at all through the whole book, except for one or two times, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but going along with that, I felt like she also added so many, like, especially when she was coming back home to Seabrook, I
Yeah.
felt like the detail, and not that there's anything wrong with details, but I felt like there were paragraphs worth of describing one thing. And I was like, this is a little unnecessary. Like, as she's taking a shower when she gets to Seabrook and like walking into town, that took like pages and pages. I was like, all she did was take a shower and walk into town. Like, I was just immediately, I was just over it. And I don't know why.
And I didn't, maybe it was because I enjoyed the descriptions, because I keep going back to how cute it was and everything, like how picturesque the town
Yeah.
was. Um, so I didn't feel like that, but maybe it was because I was like, "Oh my gosh, this place sounds so cute." You know what I mean? So I was like
Yeah.
focused on like wanting to vacation in Seabrook.
Yeah. Which is funny because you're the one that doesn't make movies in her head. So it's funny that you enjoyed the extra details.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like okay, you probably shouldn't compare books here, but in comparison to like the like headache of catabasis and babble that I just read, I feel like I don't know, the descriptions in those books, it was like I was being raked over coals. But I guess this one was so much more pleasant to read.
Yeah.
And maybe in comparison, it was like, oh, this is so nice.
So let me ask you a question because you ordered yours from Barnes and Noble, right?
I did.
Okay, so I had mine from Book of the Month, and I will say this was like the coolest, most unique thing, but I don't know if other copies have it. In the back of your book, did it have an annotated chapter from Haley?
Yes, it did.
Okay, cool. I I thought that was so cute and such a like unique thing that
I
doesn't like you
agree.
don't see that in books very often. So even as somebody that didn't enjoy the book, I thought that was absolutely precious, and I loved getting to like read her little comments of her own book and like see what she liked. And I don't know, I thought that was a really really fun like detail that she added into her book.
I think so too. I thought that was adorable. I didn't read it because I had already finished the book when I saw it, and I was like, I don't care. But, but, but I do think I also like never watched like, I mean, maybe like twice did I watch like a couple Haley Pham videos. So I'm not like a big like I'm not like a fan. I mean, I am a fan, but you know what I mean. I don't actively seek out her stuff, her
Yeah.
content.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe if I was like more into her like book content videos and stuff, maybe I would have been reading over it, but I don't know. I never knew about her before this book.
I thought it was a super cool detail.
It is really cool.
So you, what did you think about the grief aspect of the book?
I thought that it was so good. And usually I don't think that kind of stuff is good, but I thought that it was so good. And a couple times I teared up reading her descriptions and everything, like just the way that she felt and everything. And it didn't feel, to me, it didn't feel forced and it didn't feel like so stereotypical cliche, blah, blah, blah. Um, I don't know. I thought it was really good. What did you think about it? Because you also are more well versed in books about grief and trauma.
I did like the grief aspect of it. And how her aunt had been like a second like mother figure to her.
Right.
Um and she almost like associated her joy with Seabrook also with the memories of her aunt. So um, Seabrook itself also just gave her good memories of her aunt and her life and growing up. So I thought all of it together was really, really good. The She did it really beautifully, whereas some authors, I feel like when they try to incorporate grief, it doesn't always hit. Or maybe it hits like too hard. And I think she did like a really good intermediate. Like, I want you to feel this, but I don't want it
Be a
to
depressing book overall.
right. I don't want it to bring you down.
I thought that there was a lot of things that she did really well in the book, like things that she articulated really well or that she like brought to my attention that I'd never thought of before. Like whenever her friends kind of stopped reaching out unless it was like something random about themselves or whatever. And she was like, they don't know like what I'm going through. And she was mad at her friends for that. But then at a certain point she was like, well, I'm also not communicating how big of a deal this is to me. So can I continue to be mad at them when they don't know how much it's affecting me? And I was like, wow, that's like very philosophical. I was like, I've never would have thought about it that way.
Very insightful.
Yes, yes. Um, okay. So a big thing for me with romance books is I
Mhm.
cannot stand whenever there's a like things that you would see in any typical rom-com movie or book. I can't
Mhm.
stand whenever it's a cheese fest. Did you feel like there was any cheesy parts in this book? Or did you feel like it was all cheesy? What did you think with the romance?
The whole thing was cheesy.
Wow. Just
which is
wow.
which is kind of why I was like, Hannah's gonna love this. Especially like a little personal touch for you when she went and like when he owned the coffee shop and she went to work there. I was like, this is so Hannah. This is so Hannah coded.
That's so funny. Yeah, I hate whenever it's like, oh my gosh, like whenever the male character is like 6.5 feet tall, and it's like, and I'm having to crane my neck to look at him. And I'm like, okay, we get it. He's tall and you're short. Move on. You know what I mean? Like whenever people harp on those sorts of things. And I feel like
Yeah.
there was only one moment whenever I was thinking, oh my gosh, of course this has to happen. This happens in every single romance novel. It was whenever she was at like the after hours time, overtime, whatever, and they were doing like the construction work on the coffee shop. And
Yeah.
she got like a splinter or something. And he was like, oh, let me go get the first aid kit. And I was like, of course, somebody has to get hurt. And then the other person has to stitch them back up. Not literally stitch them back up, but you know what I mean? There's always somebody that gets hurt. And then, to bring them in close proximity, they have to like caress their hand so they can put some neosporin on their cut. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Yeah.
of course that has to happen. So that did happen. And I did not love it because I don't like when cheesy things like that happen. But that was the only time that I felt like that, actually.
I don't know. I mean, and I feel like once I like if it weren't for the podcast and the fact that we did this for April, I probably would have DNF'd this book.
Are you
So
serious?
the yes, 100%. Like I could care
Wow.
less if they all died at the end.
Oh my.
Um,
Well, one of
so
them did, and her name is Lottie.
I well yeah. But I also think I decided that so early on that I was like, who cares? Like once I was like, I'm not feeling this anymore, I'm literally just finishing it so that I know what happens and I can talk about it for the podcast episode. Then I just feel like I dissociated through the characters. Like I did not relate to any of them. Everything was cheesy to me. You know, Nothing necessarily happened that I didn't see coming. Um, so I don't know. I just, overall, I just didn't have a great time. I did not have a great time.
I did not have a gratin when I was chicken crit. Do did have a gratin. What did you think about the dual timeline part?
I don't mind that. I've never been a dual timeline hater. Um,
Yeah,
like I feel like it's in a lot of books lately, especially like even the book by Tara DeWitt that I'm reading right now. Like it is a second chance romance and it's dual timeline. Like
yeah.
I feel like if you have a second chance in some way, shape, or form, there's going to be a dual timeline because you have to figure out what happened before. And
Unless you have
it
like a giant, like 10 years later in the middle of it.
yeah, it genuinely does not bother me. The only thing that does bother me is like, oh my God, they haven't talked to each other or thought about each other in 4 years. And now he's right in front of me. And I'm like, that's really not realistic, but pop off.
Yeah, dual timelines don't bother me either. Um, what I didn't like though about this dual timeline is I feel like the Declans, like Declan from high school and Declan in present day, I feel like there was a disconnect. I feel like they were almost two completely different people, which I know that he literally got hit by a car. So I know that he like had his dreams of being a football player were crushed, like I know he had a bunch of bad stuff happen to him, but I feel like he was just so Scroogey and so moody in the present day. And I don't know, the Declan that I saw in the past, I feel like would have been at least a little bit more lighthearted.
Yeah, I could see where people would think that. I don't the high school version of him was definitely more um like happy go lucky, frat boy, cutesy. But like you said, like he had a very traumatic thing happen, so he may have lost his spark.
Yeah, maybe he dimmed his sparkle a little bit. Um, there's something else I was gonna say. Okay, third act breakup, whenever the mom went cuckoo crazy and was like, "Do you really think you're in an emotional state to be making these decisions?" What did you think about the third act breakup? Was it justified in her, like, were Blair's actions justified when she, like, ran away?
you know, it is a book at the end of the day, but I feel like miscommunication is one of my biggest pet peeves,
Yeah.
and especially running away from it. Like, you basically did that for 4 years. Like, you already did that more or less, and it
Yeah, it's
didn't
time to
work
buck
out.
up, buttercup.
Yeah, it didn't work out the first time, so I pinky promise you it's not going to work out the second time.
Yeah,
So I mean, I think third act breakups are in and of itself super cheesy, and I don't love them in general. Now, it's
I
not
think
going
they're
to make me
so
not read a
annoying.
book.
Right.
Yeah, it's super annoying. Like, of course they're gonna come back together, and we're gonna have an epilogue where like they get engaged or get pregnant or are having babies, but like I just think it's so unnecessary.
I agree. It is silly because 'cause I'm of the mindset of, like, when you're an adult, you know, you don't just
Yeah,
break up and get back together as an adult, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta figure your
right.
stuff out, you know what I mean? Like, either be together or don't be together, but all this back and forth is giving me whiplash.
Yeah. And I will say, from at least Hannah and I's perspective, um, we just so happen to love our husbands, and we've been with them for a very long time, and we got to be blessed with not having to go through like a terrible version of dating, if you would agree, Hannah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, we didn't have to date in today's age,
Thank
and
goodness.
yeah, thank goodness. So I feel like sometimes I'm just that's just an area that I can't relate in, because I've literally been with Devin since high school. But
Yeah, like, dating app, what's that?
yeah, so there are times when I read a book and I'm like, yeah, it's just wrong crowd. But yeah, I mean, I just think that Blair was an avoidant personality type, and it showed in not just her romantic relationships, but in her romantic relationships, her friendships, her family relationships with her mom, her aunt. Like, she is really, really, she loves avoiding.
Yeah. No, that's very true, and I completely agree with you about the miscommunication trope, like, that drives me up the freaking wall, especially whenever it's like, "Just open your mouth and talk about what you're feeling," and we could cut out about 75 of these pages.
No, exactly. Like, and if you're trying, especially because they are a second chance, like, hey, we are back together because we've already done something in the past that broke us up. So we should be in a position where we can handle things a little differently now.
Yeah.
And that is, I mean, that's not what happened. They just hit rewind and press play.
Yeah, I agree. Even though I did love it, that did drive me crazy.
I yeah, I'm not at all surprised that you liked the book.
That's so
Um
funny. I was so curious to see what you were gonna think about it because you're definitely more experienced in the realm of romance books. So I was so
yes.
curious what you were gonna think about it.
Yes. I think at the end of the day, this book was a lighthearted, cutesy, cheesy romance book set in a summery vacation town, and there are some life lessons to be had. And if that sounds like something that you would enjoy, then you probably will enjoy this. But I just did not, and that's okay.
So thinking about one more, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Thinking about the title of the book, Just Friends, okay?
Mhm.
Do you think that guys and girls can be just friends?
This is such a hot topic.
I know. Do you want me to give you my opinion?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. I think that it is definitely possible. However, as a married woman, I don't really have guy friends anymore. You know what I mean? Just because it is like, I feel like it is possible, but I feel like it's a slippery slope. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't
Obviously I would never do anything like that. You know what I mean? Um,
yeah.
but like you never know what another person's thinking in a situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think also as a married woman,
Exactly. It's
um,
different when you're married. It's very different when you're married.
yeah, our perspectives may have been different if one or both of us were single, but
Yeah.
like Devin and I have been together since high school, and all of my guy friends are are Devin's friends. Like they were
Yeah.
originally Devin's friends. That's how I met them, and I love them and I adore them, and like I would feel 100% comfortable if they needed to come like sleep on our couch for an extended period of time. But outside of that, I would say no. Because there, and this may like be like a, oh, she's such a stick in the mud thing, but I think there are relational boundaries,
Yeah.
and a guy girl friendship when you're married just kind of tends to like get into the gray area of those boundaries. Um,
Right. That's how I feel. I just because like I said, obviously we would never do anything awry, but you also never know what the other person is thinking, you know?
yeah.
So
So,
why put yourself in like a situation like that is my line of thinking. But everybody's different.
right. And
And
clearly we
everybody
see
has
from
different.
our books.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying clearly we see from like our books and movies that the trope of friends to lovers is a really big like money making hit.
Yeah.
So it's popular for a reason. So I wouldn't want to invite that into my home, you know?
No, I agree. Yeah. I agree.
Um okay, so any last thoughts? What was your favorite part of the book? Just learning about Seabrook?
I did love that part. Um, Honestly, whenever she was in the coffee shop, I really liked those parts.
I knew it.
I also liked whenever her and Declan were like getting along, but not dating again just yet. But whenever there was like a little bit of banter, you know, and like she would like accidentally make him smile, you know, that sort of thing. I thought that those were cute. Those were cute moments.
Yeah. I think that if I had to pick a scene that was my favorite, it would probably be the one. I think it's the one that Haley annotated where they're on the football field, or
Oh,
maybe I don't know. But
that
he like is
was
not playing with the real football. Like I thought that was that was very sweet.
I thought that that was so cringy, but so cute. It like was very high school romance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like
agree. I agree.
I was cringing, but I was also like, "Oh, that's pretty spot on to how high school romance is."
Yeah, it was pretty cringy, but like I'm not athletic at all. Like I have zero athleticism in my body. I just happen to be strong. So if I were playing football in that position and like trying to help him out, it would have been really nice to have a foam ball that wasn't quite as hard.
That's so funny. Yeah, it was cute though.
Yeah, I don't know, Hannah. I was just looking back on my bookshelf that I keep only our podcast books on, and in my ratings, we are 0 for 2. I am 0 for 2 with romance books that we have picked as our
Oh,
book.
yeah. No, I agree, because the other one was that one Most Eligible, and we both hated that one.
Yeah, so you're 1 to 1 and I'm 0 and 2.
You're right. Maybe one of these days we'll get a good romance one. We have not picked our May book yet, so we'll announce that at a later date, probably at the end of our next episode.
Yes, and if you have any questions or recommendations for any episode, but especially our next episode, then please comment down below. Or if you are really interested in a book that you would like to see us do for our next month's read, then please comment down below. Because I currently have no ideas.
Yeah, me neither. We'll have to scour the webs and see what picks our suits our fancy.
Yeah, I will have to go back to the drawing board for that one.
We'll put a pin in it and then we'll let you guys know when we know, because right now we're all on the same page. We're all clueless, okay?
Yeah. Um, but yes, if you have any ideas of anything or you just want to say, hey, please comment down below. And especially if you read Just Friends, let us know what you thought of it. Give us your input and we will love to interact with you guys in the comments.
Very true indeed. We would love that.
All right, Hannah. Well, I love you so much and I will catch you next episode.
And I love you so much. I'm gonna go drink some tea.
Good night, my little
Good night.
homebody.
That's me. Bye.
Bye.